Hello, everyone, and welcome to ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. I'm Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every weeknight at 8 p.m. Central. I'm so happy to be with you guys tonight. Happy Wednesday to all of you. I know that game day is so close for Cowboys versus Washington, a divisional matchup that we're all excited about. Something that it's an easy game, something that it's the biggest game of the season. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that the Cowboys should be favored on this one, but I also see why this could be a tough game for the Cowboys. So tonight, what we will do here on ADC Sports Dallas Primetime is dive in and take a look at three matchups that I believe are worth watching for Cowboys versus Washington. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the show. And if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, let your friends know about ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. So thank you for being here. And now that more of us are here, let's get ready to start the show officially. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. I'm Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday through Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central here on Dallas On-Demand Sports Talk Network, with a lot more content coming your way throughout the entire 2021 season. Make sure you check out adcsports.com/Dallas for more Cowboys content, for more Mavericks content. Make sure you check that out. Thank you to everyone who is joining me. What is up, people in the YouTube chat? Also, what is up, people in the Facebook chat? We have Tom Downey burner account saying, when God said, let there be light, Parsons said, say please. Oh, Tom Downey's burner account, increasing the heat on that one. Hey, we knew that, hopefully everything is okay with burner account. I know that the missus had to fill in last night for him in the chat. That was fun. Jason says, we need a players-only meeting. Hey, maybe it's not maybe it's not a bad idea. We always like how that sounds. But I'm not entirely sure. Like, it is time for the Cowboys to, start peaking at the right time. But also, I wouldn't be hitting the panic button just yet. What is up, Stephen White? Saying, reminding people to hit the like. That is Stevie Mac. I was confusing the comments right now. But Stevie Mac reminding people, as always, to hit the like button and, of course, share the stream. And now, what is up, Stephen White? Thank you for being here as well. Kenneth Fraser over at Facebook, salute, and also Pete over at Facebook. Hope you're having a great Wednesday night, by the way. Barrel Killer says, sweat out. That is right. This is actually a new sweatshirt, so I'm kind of humble, making a humble brag right now. So thank you to Burl for noticing, and I appreciate you. Now, I know that he wasn't talking about the sweatshirt, though, because there are some interesting news for the Cowboys versus the Washington game, and that is that Montez Sweat will not be playing because of COVID-19. So he was going to be back from injury, and just when he was about to be activated by Washington, now he has been ruled out and placed on the COVID-19 list. He's unvaccinated, actually, and there were some comments flying around on social media, something that he said back in June, if I'm not mistaken, saying that he was not going to treat COVID until he got COVID. Unfortunately, he got it late in the season, so a huge blow for a Washington defense that has already been playing without Chase Young. As you all know, early in the season, he suffered a season-ending injury, and Washington has been trying to put the pieces together and try to find a way to generate pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And the way that they have gone about it is they have started to blitz way more, and they have gotten a little bit creative with their blitzes at times. But the fact that Sweat is out is big for Washington. Like, that is a huge blow for that defense, and of course, it takes a weight off the Cowboys' offensive line shoulders as well. But they shouldn't be, taking this defense for granted, though, because they are blitzing a lot and they're getting after the quarterback a bit. But yeah, Montez Sweat has been ruled out for the season. And there are a lot of players on that defense, though, that the Cowboys need to keep an eye out on. And some are on the defensive backfield, like Landon Collins and Cam Curl. We'll talk about that as well. But how about those interior defensive linemen? Daron Payne. Payne might be playing the best football of his career right now. He is balling for Washington. And of course, there's Jonathan Allen on the other side of the defensive line. But I think that Daron Payne has been pushing guys around over the past few weeks, and especially during Washington's 4-game winning streak. Still got Payne, very good defensive tackles, says Tom Downey, burner account over on the chat. Who has COVID with Washington, says Tom Downey's burner account? That is Sweat. Sweat is out for the game because of COVID-19. Some interesting situation for the Chargers. I know it's a little bit unrelated, but I remembered just now Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were reportedly going to be placed on the COVID-19 list. And then someone reported that Brandon Staley, was going to address the media and talk about that. And maybe that is not the case. Maybe they're not going into the COVID-19 list. We'll see how that goes for the Chargers. Now, some matchups to watch, though. And let's since we're speaking about Washington's playmakers on defense, let's discuss a couple of players. Like, we knew going into the year that Sweat and Chase Young were going to be an intimidating couple of defenders for Washington, but they're both out for the first game of the season, Cowboys versus Washington. But there are still a few players that we need to watch out for, and one of them is Landon Collins and Cam Curl. And both, if you take a look at Washington's roster, you will see that both are named safeties, but they are a different kind of safeties. And people have been talking a lot, in myself included, about Collins' new role within Washington's defense. And we have been discussing the fact that Collins is playing this sort of a Buffalo nickel position for Washington. And what that means is that he's playing near the line of scrimmage, not necessarily inside the box, because at times he's near the line of scrimmage, but he's playing more of as an overhang. And I don't want to say a nickel cornerback, because at times that is not the case either. But before I dove into the tape, I thought that we were going to take a look at Collins versus tight ends versus slot wide receivers. But what I have been impressed the most from Collins himself is the way that he has turned into a run defender. He's been playing very well versus the runs. He's making tackles in open fields, but he's also getting his hands dirty, trying to get mixing all of the run fit, and he is making some big-time tackles for Washington. Cam Curl might be a little bit of a different safety, but he's also playing this hybrid role for Washington. So my first matchup to watch in this game would be both Landon Collins and Cam Curl, to be honest, versus the entire Cowboys offense. I know that is cheating a little bit, but that would be my first matchup to watch. Tom Downey's burner account is saying, I heard Collins might not play as well. That is right. This is not confirmed. He is questionable. If I'm not mistaken, that is his actual game status on the injury report. He didn't play last weekend, so that makes things even more interesting for Washington. I don't know if he will play or not. I would expect him to, but I don't know if things will change over the next couple of days. Calvin Jefferson saying over at YouTube, saying, do we go back to Williams? We haven't run it since the bye. And I think that is a perfect segue for my next matchup, because I have Jonathan Allen / Daron Payne versus the weakest point of the Cowboys offense, in my opinion. That is that spot between Connor McGovern. Right now, we don't know if the Cowboys will go back to Williams. I would like it to be the case, but I'm not sure that they will. Connor McGovern and Tyler Viadish. We know that the inside of the Cowboys offensive line has struggled over the past few weeks, and Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen are two defensive tackles that, to be honest, can out-physical the Cowboys' interior offensive linemen, in my opinion. And that is what scares me the most about this game, that in trenches, I can see the potential for Washington to be a little bit more physical. I'm not saying that Washington will win the game or anything like that. You know that I'm going to pick the Cowboys this week, But I will say that that is the part of this matchup that concerns me the most. We have seen the Cowboys struggle the most this season when they are out physical in the trenches. And that might be the case potentially versus Washington, even more so on the inside. Jessica says, do you expect Pollard to play on Sunday? I heard he didn't practice today. So I do expect Tony Pollard to play. I also expect Ezekiel Elliott to do so. Hopefully, we're not missing. There is some concerns, says Todd Arker, and this is quote. I'm quoting his tweet. Maybe not red alert about Tony Pollard's availability Sunday with that foot injury. With Ezekiel Elliott dealing with the knee issue, Pollard banked up. That's why they added Ito Smith to the practice squad. And that is what I wanted to get to. Ito Smith is a player that they signed to the practice squad, and that might be a little bit of a red flag for the Cowboys offense on Sunday. Hopefully, Pollard is available. I think that the concern is legit. Maybe I'm just being an optimist and expecting Tony to play on Sunday. Hopefully that is the case because the Cowboys, I think, need him. Ezekiel Elliott is not that healthy. Charlie and Evans saying Washington defensive end Montez Sweat out with COVID-19. That is right. That is the case for Washington. We'll see what happens. Hopefully there are not more cases on that team. And I kind of hate that Sweat is out for this one. I know that that means an advantage for the Cowboys, but I don't want playmakers to be missing games because of COVID. I think that sucks for everyone who is enjoying NFL football. Jason says players meeting to see who is all in ready for the end of the season. Hopefully the Cowboys are able to get their stuff together during these final weeks of the year. Burl says that would have been a great move, Tom. And that is in response to Tom down his burner account saying, kind of wish that they signed Adrian Peterson. And I know why, but I also don't think that Adrian, all right, now that we know that Tony Pollard is banged up, maybe I see why. But I don't know if Adrian Peterson is the guy that we think he is right now. All right, so number 3 matchup of the game, and this one is kind of an obvious one, but Antonio Gibson. And I'm going to say specifically versus Micah Parsons, because we know that Parsons has been doing some great stuff as a run defender, one of the leaders in the NFL in terms of tackles for loss. Got another big one versus the Saints, for example, in a big spot. And Antonio Gibson has been doing some good stuff for Washington. And I was looking at his average yards per carry, and it's not a super high average. Actually, I think that during the winning streak, it is a 3.8 yards per carry average. And I know that is a low number, but we come back to what we said last night here on Primetime. It is not about Washington being the most efficient team when running the football. It is just that they will be so insistent with it. And if the Cowboys defense has one weakness, so far it has been the run defense. They have struggled a little bit in the trenches, and it will be very important that Micah Parsons puts up a great performance versus Antonio Gibson. And, of course, the entire defensive front, right? But if we want to talk about Washington's playmaker versus the Cowboys playmaker, then it's Gibson versus Parsons, right? Burner account says Gibson is a very under-the-radar running back. Rivera loves to run the ball, too. And during the winning streak, Taylor Heinicke has not thrown over 35 passes in any of the games. So they have gone all in the run game, and it's been fun to watch, honestly. If we take a look at it from a neutral point of view, Washington's run game is kind of fun. We discussed it last night, but they're pulling their center, they're pulling their guards, they're mixing all kinds of misdirections from every player possible, the tight ends, the wide receivers, and I think that they have been very creative with it. And again, we're not talking about the most efficient running attack in the NFL, but I think that it's been interesting to watch. AJ Torres says, how can we not get excited about Gregory, Osa, Gallimore, and D-Law playing at the same time along with Parsons bulldozing these running backs? It is going to be fun to watch the Cowboys run defense try to, get all of these players back in time versus a team like Washington. What is up? Hey there. How is it going in the 915? Says Dennis. It is going great. Thank you for being here, Dennis. And yeah, we are on the road. This is prime time on the road, ladies and gentlemen. So those are the matchups that I wanted to discuss with you guys. But now, also, before we get to one cool thing, and for those of you who are new on prime time, every Wednesday night we do the one cool thing segment, and we discuss um, cool things that had happened over the week, not necessarily related to the Cowboys, but to the entire sports world, or a personal thing, or a professional thing, whatever you want to share with us. But before we get to that, let's talk about the Cowboys sitting in the NFC. Stephen White says Micah needs to be a linebacker 65% of the time for this game. And I think that could be the case with Gregory Beck. I'm excited to see what defensive fronts Dan Quinn shows us on Sunday, because every week it seems like we see some fun packages, and we might see a little bit of NASCAR fronts, like people have been saying on social media, like we saw last week versus the Saints. But I'm ready to see a little bit of Gregory Lawrence on the inside, maybe with Parsons on the edge and Golson on the inside, things like that. We have seen it already. Even Lawrence, Dan Quinn is not afraid to move his defensive pieces. He literally is not afraid to do so. Stephen White says 915 Chuco. That is right. Right now we are doing prime time from the Chuco. And if you guys don't know what that means, then you are definitely not from El Paso. But yeah, now let's talk about the NFC sitting right now. And I wanted to show you how the playoff picture looks like right now. If the NFL season was over today, the Cowboys would be at number 4 playing the number 5 LA Rams. Whew. I'm not sure that we are fans of that matchup. And then you have the Buccaneers at number 3 and Washington at number 6. That I am blown away by the fact that Washington is the 6th best team in the NFC. And then finally, the Packers versus the 49ers. And of course, not shown in this picture are the Arizona Cardinals, who are currently enjoying a first round bye if the season ended today. So I wanted to ask you right now, and I will leave Washington out of this. I will leave Washington out of this question, because I think that if I included them, maybe they would have been the most popular answer. So the question for you guys in the chat is, would you rather face the Rams or the 49ers in the wild card round? A few weeks ago, maybe this would have been a very easy question, because the Rams were looking like one of the best teams in the NFL. Matthew Stafford was an MVP candidate, but since then, they have lost 3 out of their last 4. And their one win was versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's a difficult question, because you know how we just mentioned that the Cowboys struggle specifically versus the run. Are we sure that we prefer to face the 49ers over the Rams, or the other way around? Because I am a little bit concerned about facing a healthy 49ers team right now with that sort of run game clicking for them, even though they just lost to the Seahawks. So I kind of expected this, but the answers are quite mixed in the chat right now. Burl goes with the 49ers. Burner account goes with the Rams, but he explains that he wants the smoke. So that is the reason why he's going with the Rams. Peter goes with the Rams. Stevie says 49ers. Bruce 49ers over at Facebook. The Rams, 49ers, 40-winers, says John L. Hill. So yeah, there are mixed answers on this question. And I knew there would be, because I'm not even sure about my own answer as to who I would like to face the most. But I will say that the 49ers. Just because if the Cowboys get into a shootout versus the Rams, I can see LA pulling away with it. Well, I think that if the Cowboys are able to put together an early lead versus the 49ers, I think that it would be difficult for Jimmy G to pull off a comeback. So my answer to the question, who would you rather face, the Rams or the 49ers in the wild card round? Will be the 49ers. But it's closer than I thought it would be a few weeks ago. 100%. Uh, Charlene says, we owe the Rams a butt whooping. And I know we do. That 2018 playoff game is difficult to forget. It really is. Because they destroyed the Dallas Cowboys on that wasn't on the divisional round, that right after the Cowboys beat the Seahawks in the wild card game. Those throws from Prescott to Michael Gallup versus the Seahawks are just, and that 3rd and 14 run by Dak are some of the memories that keep me going as a Cowboys follower and as your host of ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. We don't need to be in a shootout anywhere, says Bruce win. That is definitely not what we want. I agree with that. Tom says, I want to, well, burner account says, I want to the best and knock out a good team if it's our only home game. Jason says, I am not scared of none of those teams. It doesn't matter because we beat any of them. Hey, I like Jason's mindset. I'm all for it. Let's go. Rudy does say, though, the 49ers. So, anyways, before we move on, here's a question, though. Here's the biggest question of the week. What is your one cool thing of the week? And remember, this can be a professional thing, this can be a personal thing, a sports related thing, or any of the sort. And before, as you guys start thinking about that one cool thing, I will say, though, that McCarthy denied mentioning who is going to start at right tackle or at left guard. And he joked a little bit about it. He said that they don't announce starting lineups on Wednesdays, and I respect that. I want it to be Connor Williams and Lyle Collins on Sunday versus Washington. I don't know that I will get that wish come true, but that is what I want. He didn't say anything. I think that we don't need to wait until Sunday. I think that we'll need to wait until Friday morning when Jerry Jones is on the air on 105.3 The Fan, because you guys know that Jerry Jones is not quiet about these things. So what is your one cool thing of the week? Your one cool thing of the week. And Burner says, Mo, I don't want to fly under the radar. The place to be is when expectations are high. I like that. I like the mindset as well. AJ says, looks like Cedric Wilson will be back this game. Y'all think we'll go 4 or 5 wide in this game? I don't think that. Hey, it could be without Tony Pollard if he doesn't play. I would be a little bit surprised if they go empty. I would like it. I'm not going to lie. I would. Maybe the Cowboys have not been shy about using this quads formation. Now, that doesn't mean that they need to have 4 wideouts out there, because they can have Dalton Schultz lined up wide. But the Cowboys have done just about everything from quads formations throughout the entire season. So maybe it wouldn't be as surprising to see those kind of looks. Hey, Jay, if you get that prediction right, you will get all of the shout-outs here on ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. Jason says, we have played Sam Bradford. Peter says, ex-Cowboys Dan Campbell gets his first Lions win. That was amazing. I don't know what Cameron Dantzler and Xavier Woods were doing on that play, giving up basically the entire goal line for the Lions. But hey, it is what it is. Burner says, got a Friendsgiving on Saturday. Hard to hang with friends when you get older, sadly. Hey, I imagine that is the case. But it is up to us to enjoy it the most when we have those chances. Charlene's cool thing of the week is, I just sold the Rubik's Cube after 40 plus years of trying. Hey, I'm at 22 years of not really trying, but if I ship that before I'm 40, I would be very proud of myself as well. Burl says, one cool thing was the Monday Night Football with the Patriots passing only 3 times in a win. Spectacular coaching by Belichick. That was history. Like, we were witnessing history when watching the Monday Night Football game. And I agree with Burl. That was just magnificent coaching by Belichick. And someone said it, I cannot remember. I think it was Steve Buckley, writer for The Athletic. And I think that he put it in the most eloquent way when he wrote that a lot of people have been saying that Bill Belichick cannot win without a great quarterback. But on Monday night, he won with no quarterback. And I thought that was an amazing way to put it. So I agree with Beryl. That was a one cool thing of the week. Then he says, I'm excited to see what we will do with that locker room material the no-name football team provided. I agree with that as well. Barner, come on, Barner. He solved the Rubik's Cube, man. I will take the Rams because we haven't lost to Sam Bradford yet in Sam Stafford. All right. Jason says Sam Stafford yet in the playoffs. I like that. John L. Hill says if Pollard in 6 questionable, Dak's going to air the ball out 40 times. That might be the case. Here's my one cool thing of the week. Oh, we have another one. Bruce says, I had my second granddaughter turned 2 over the weekend. That is amazing, Bruce. Shout out to you and congratulations on that one cool thing. All right. Here's my one cool thing of the week. I was struggling to find one, so I divided it into 2. One is related. All right, I have 3 actually right now. Number 1, Buck O'Neil and Eddie Miñoso got elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And if you are into baseball, you know the importance and relevance of these 2 players, historic figures, just as Joe Posnanski calls Buck O'Neil, the voice of baseball, the soul of baseball. So Buck O'Neil and Eddie Miñoso got elected into the Hall of Fame. Finally, after years of waiting, both have passed away, unfortunately. But hey, the Baseball Hall of Fame got it right by including them. And now, number 2, we have a big-time UFC event on Saturday night. Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. I think it's a loaded MMA card, and I will enjoy it as much as I can. We also have the Army-Navy game is this weekend. Hey, that is another one cool thing, actually. So we are at 3 right now, and then here we go for the personal one. My brother started a business, and it's been going well for him. He opened up a store. He sells a lot of stuff from local brands, and I think that he's killing it right now. So congratulations to my brother, and that is my one cool thing of the week. AJ says, my job is finally letting us work double overtime. That definitely is cool. Stevie Mac, putting air on your tires is definitely a cool thing as well. Let's go. It all depends on how you look at things. Burner account says, go Army, baby. And yeah, it is that week of the year, and I love it. I love it so much. Beryl says, Mini Miñoso and Buck O'Neil. Wow, Miñoso played in 4 decades. That is right. He played in 4 decades. That is amazing that he did. And he's, I think, the 4th oldest player to ever play in a Major League Baseball game. So shout out to them. They're now in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and we can now enjoy it a little bit more. But anyways, guys, tomorrow night, we will be back in the Primetime studio, and we will be having the Betting the Cowboys segment, the blind recap segment, and we'll share some final thoughts before the Cowboys versus Washington football divisional matchup that we are all so excited about. But thank you for joining me. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the show. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, let your friends know about ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. Let's get more Cowboys fans in here. And I hope, that you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Thank you for being with me. I agree with Beryl. I know this might be controversial. I would have Pete Rose in my Hall of Fame in baseball. Thank you, Charlene Evans, for your comment. Thank you as well, Tom Downey, for your wishes on my safe travels. Grab some Whataburger, Mo. Hey, I might grab some Whataburger. Thank you, guys. Make sure you check out adcsports.com/Dallas for more Cowboys content and some Mavericks content. I know that if you are into the Mavericks, you're also suffering a little bit lately. So make sure you check that out. Get some thoughts from our writers, Ian and Alec, who do a tremendous job covering the maps for us. Hey, I appreciate all of your comments. Beryl, I appreciate that as well. AJ, John L., Joshua Davis, that is saying, nice of you to do this on the road. Hey, there is no other way. We cannot stop ADC Sports Dallas Primetime. I appreciate you guys. Also, thank you to Bruce. My cool thing that Texas Rangers got Curry Seager. Hey, that is a good one from Jason. So anyways, I will see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. Thank you for joining me, and have a great Wednesday night. I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.